Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to convert the Mobile Dimension Mill Model 127 from the small edger blade to the larger edger blade. Here it is. So this blade allows you to do a couple things. First thing is it changes your width of beam from 4 inches to 7 inches. So you can actually cut a 7 by 12 with this blade. The other thing it does is it makes it so you can take a 2 by 6 on the flat, which is really helpful. So the reason I'm changing this blade today is that I just keep struggling cutting these 3 by 12s in Sitka spruce. It just keeps binding up. Pretty gnarly. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bigger edger blade on, and what that'll do is when we're doing 3 by 12s, most of this blade is sunk in the log, and I keep just getting this all bound up with sawdust, and these get hot and jam up. So I'm hoping with the bigger edger blade it'll have enough room to clear itself, and hopefully it'll just work a little better. So to change the edger blade, you got these little bolts that come through it and these little nuts on top. So I like to go along and crack those nuts loose, and then you hold the nut with the wrench, spin the bolt, whoops, with the Allen wrench, take it out. So the issues I'm having are, well, they're pretty standard for what happens with this mill. Both blades are heating up, both of them, the edger and the small blade and the main blade. And when they heat up, as soon as the blade starts getting hot, they cup, and then it'll pull the mill off to the side. It won't cut right. I got new teeth. Everything is sharp. Everything about the alignment looks really good that I've seen so far. I haven't seen anything to change. So there's two aspects here. Number one is I'm cutting old growth timber, which is always a challenge. So this old growth spruce is hard to cut. It just is. You think spruce, oh, softwood, it's easy. Oh man, it's stringy, and the trees are big with a lot of tension in them. It's really hard to cut. Conversely, second growth spruce is like the easiest wood to cut in the world, and I guarantee you we could just mill all day long right now without a single problem. So one of the really interesting things about this mill is that a huge amount of it is quality of timber. So if your timber quality is really, really, really good, the mill will cut surprisingly well, even with some things out of alignment. But as soon as you get into hard timber like this, any issue with the mill will be exponentially worse. So I guarantee it, we could mill 2 by 4s with this mill all day right now in second growth. We'd never think there's anything wrong with it. I think my blades themselves are actually getting a little tired. It's been a long time since I had these rehammered or anything. So you just work your way along, taking off all these little bolts. Our blade is coming off now. Beautiful. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I really like using this mill with the big edger blade. I'm excited to do it again. There's benefits to both. It's really interesting. I wonder if this was actually a little bit of an issue. This was really, look how wound in there that was. So anything that causes heat will cause issues, because once the blades are warm, they don't work. Like they need to, the blade needs to stay cool or it literally will not work. Okay. So blade's pretty easy to put on. It's got a little bit of an indent, a countersink for the screws on the bottom. So it's pretty straightforward. And it has been a while, so I just need to make sure that I don't forget anything when I change this over. I don't think I will. Okay. Perfect. So you want to spin those up just until they are starting to poke through the top of this flange right there. Well, let's see. I guess you call it a, what do you call that? Collar? So spin this up. Okay. Just until it's poked up a little bit. And you got to get that little lock nut in there. Okay. And then you take your Allen wrench and whoops, spin it up, and you got to hold that nut to get it started. Okay. Alright. Again, we spin it up there till it's just poked through that flange. Put that little nut in there. Hold it. Your wrench. That screw hole had a little bit of sawdust stuck in there. Most of these were actually clean, which was surprising. So I like to just take a drill bit, a little smaller than the hole, and you can spin that drill bit up in there. Oh yeah. That should let our Allen wrench go in there all the way now. There we go. There we go. Okay. Keep working your way around. Okay, so I got that one pretty tight. I'll go over. This one in all the way. Tighten that all the way, pretty tight. And then while holding it tight, I'm going to lock it home. Okay. Everything on the mill needs to be pretty darn tight. You know, I don't use a torque wrench for everything, but it really needs to be tight because there's so much vibration that there is all kinds of stuff that has come loose on me over the years. Okay. So once I've got 3 in there, I'll go ahead, tighten those 3 up all the way and lock them in, and then we'll just add more of them in as we're going here. I'm sure you're supposed to like get them all in and tart them in like a star pattern, kind of like a lug nut, but I just get 3 in there, absolutely tight, absolutely set, and I just put the other ones in one at a time. Last couple bolts. So, this is fun. It's a cool mill with the big blades, the big edger blade. It's also cool with the small edger blades. So, you know, if you're cutting a lot of 2x4s, the small edger blades are way better. If you're cutting a lot of really big timbers, obviously this is better and necessary if you're going to cut over 4x12. The little edger blades are really, really nice because you can run the top blade up here to just skim the top of the log, and that makes it so that every single board is absolutely perfectly accurate. So in other words, every single board has to pass right between these 2 blades, and it makes it so your lumber is absolutely accurate. With just this blade, you make a pass across the top and then you drop down. The only thing that sets that height of lumber, like 2x6 or 2x8, is how much the mill moves up or down. So to make really accurate lumber, you often have to adjust the mill like a 1/16 or an inch up or down to get it perfect, and even then it's not going to be as accurate as with the small blades. You can get it good, accurate, but it's not going to be as good. Both little edger blades skimming, they just come out absolutely perfect. It's awesome. Okay. So, that was easy. No problem. That looks great. Everything you see on this mill is new. This entire shaft, bearings, the main bearings. I've replaced everything on this mill that wears out over the years, I think. I do see a couple other things that are getting close, but you can rebuild them. All right. That's the edger blade on there. That's great. We do need to sharpen it before we cut. So now I'll show you here. We got to adjust the main blade. So when you put the big edger blade on there, it moves the cut from here, where the main blade is now, out here. So we need to move the main blade out to here. And the way you do that is this spacer right here needs to go on the inside of the blade, and the blade will move out this way. So let's go ahead. Half-inch. Take this off. So take the cover off. Got 1 bolt right here, in front of the cover. And if you're watching these videos and there's something that you see that I don't cover in this video, be sure to click the link below for how-to mobile dimension sawmill videos, because I may have already covered it in another video in more detail. And if you have any questions, you see anything on here that you want to understand and don't, just let me know and comment below and I'll make a video for you. So, take off all the springs here. So these are the springs that hold this up. So this part goes up and down when the mill moves. Disconnect these springs, pretty straightforward. Okay. Funny, I was concerned for a minute I wasn't going to find these parts. It's been so long, but they were all together. So this piece is going to go under there, and that'll move this out to where the new location of the plate is. So these are your main bolts that hold the main bearing. So when we take these off, we need to be sure that we don't screw up the alignment of the main blade. So the main blade is aligned by this bearing moving forward or backwards like this, okay? And then there's a little screw right here to adjust it. We just need to make sure that when we tighten these bolts, that ours is slammed nice and tight against that bolt, which it looks like it is. Okay. Okay. Again, you really need these to be tight. You don't want anything coming loose and any metal flying on the mill. So like if one of these bolts came loose, it could throw that metal part out. That'll be really, really, really bad. So let's get this bolted on like this. I usually do these with a big socket. I don't have it today. So we are just going to do it with the wrench, but that's okay. Just using that crescent wrench to hold the bottom of that nut. That's fine. Okay. Clamp that baby down nice and tight. Okay. And this piece can now bolt on right here. And we are almost done here today. Not too bad. It has been longer than I thought since I did this. I don't even remember. I mean, I remember all this stuff. I just like seeing it on there. It's been a long time. I think it's been a really long time. I kept it when we first started milling. We were doing a lot of timbers, 6 by 12 by 20, stuff like that. And I kept the big edger blade on there for the first couple years I used the mill. I loved it. And then eventually I switched over to the small edger blades and got it set up, and I just kept it like that for a decade. God, it's been a long time. It'll be fun. Maybe we can change it up a bit more frequently now. It doesn't take that long. Like I said, I usually use my big sockets for this, a deep socket, but they are down in the truck right now. So, situation. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Hopefully, it will cut a little better here today. Okay. We got this piece goes on right there. To move that over a little bit. Yeah, this is a little rusty. And then this piece goes on right here, and it just extends this guard out to where you want it. So we'll go ahead and put this on a little later since I don't have the right wrench for that. Okay. At this point, everything's back on here. We're ready for the main blade. To install the main blade, we want to make sure that the teeth are coming up when it cuts like this. And then there's a little hole right here. Goes on the collar. On the collar. On the nut. Yeah. There we go. My memory of this was I liked everything about it except for the track bounce actually seemed worse. I think just because the blade was over a little bit, so we'll see what my experiences are today. So this needs to be pretty tight. So you get this thing as tight as you can go, and you want to tighten it up pretty hard with the hammer. You really want that tight. I have actually had that come loose a number of times. Okay. We got one more piece right here. What this does is it extends that hole over to hold the guard. Okay. Whoops. Got it. Okay, that little guy goes on right there. And that will support the front of the guard. There's the bolt right there. So again, this one, super tight. I mean, you really want that thing very tight because there's a lot of vibration right there. Okay. Now you take your blade guard. Real careful, try not to hit those teeth or anything when you do this. This hole just goes right in there. There we go. Okay. Looks great. So at this point, I just need to sharpen up the edger blade. And we'll try this again here today. Pretty good. Oh, I'm excited to see what happens here. Hopefully good things. Hopefully good things. Oh, if this doesn't do it, we'll change that main blade. But I got high hopes. High hopes. Well, we'll go ahead and sharpen up that edger blade. And then you really want to be careful when you go to start the mill up after work on it. Just like, you want to make sure there's no loose bolts. You got everything together. And you also want to make sure you didn't leave any tools sitting in there. So like something like a wrench or a socket. You could start the mill and it could fly out at you, or it could go through and damage the mill. So what I like to do, once I have everything together, is just go over it all, look at it. It looks good. And then just turn it. Okay? And just look at everything. Turns fine. Seems good. Okay. All right. Well, let's sharpen up and see what happens here, man. Hopefully we can make some progress. This is ready for new teeth. We'll try it. Not quite. So those teeth are at the end of their life, but we might get a couple of days out of them. We'll see. I'm excited. So there's supposed to be one spring on this, I think, and over the years I've just kind of kept having issues with it, so I have 2 springs and a shock cord, but it works now. Alright, let's just turn it over. I like to just turn it over once just to make sure nothing's going to happen. Seems good. Hey, there it is. Looks great. Exciting. So now we need to align that big edger blade. So what you want to do is take little cuts, like little 2-inch cuts, until you're on the log enough that the whole edger blade front to back is on the log. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see if the edger blade is tipped forward with the front down, touching the log and the back up, or if it's tilted the other way with the back touching the log and the front up. You want it to be flat with the front of the blade down just a tiny bit. I can tell the front of my blade is down a tiny bit. I think we might be perfect. God. Awesome. Oh, that's so great. It's just running great. Oh, so rewarding when it works. Okay, we're making money again. I gotta feed my kids somehow. Can't keep messing around. Really nice. Oh my goodness. They are very nice. The smells are kind of great. I got no smoke, nothing. There's a tiny bit of smoke out of the engine blade. Still better than I've seen it in a long time. that's 7 out of that tree. I'm gonna get one more, that's 8.